My girlfriend's parents didn't like me. On my way to meet them, I stopped to help a woman fix her broken car. My name is Ryan, and I could feel their judgment the moment I walked up the driveway. The grease on my hands, my shirt smudged with oil, and my hair sticking up like I had just wrestled with a storm. My girlfriend Ella's parents disliked me before I even said hello. By the time I opened the door to their house, I was late, but I didn't care. Not yet. It had started innocently enough. That morning, a vintage automobile sputtered on the side of the road. The woman was frantic, the engine hissing like a wounded creature. I knew I should not have stopped. I knew I would be late, but I couldn't help myself. She looked at me as if I were the only person in the world who could remedy the situation, and I did. Within 20 minutes, the engine of that car was purring as if it were alive again. By the time I jumped back into my car, oil-stained and weary, the sun had risen high in the sky. I drove directly to meet them, knowing that my punctuality would be a fabrication. I arrived late, which was the first thing they noticed. My hands, my shirt, my hair, every detail was a reminder that I was not the polished suitor they had anticipated. But here is the truth. It was not the grease that mattered. It was the way they looked at me, as though I were beneath consideration, as though they had already passed their judgment, and nothing I could do would alter their opinion. I recall the first time I met her parents. Everything had been different then. Polished smiles, warm handshakes, faint hints of pride. We laughed at the wrong jokes, spilled wine on the carpet, and Ella whispered, "They will come around." And I believed her. I wanted to. But the fissures were always there. The subtle barbs, the raised eyebrows, the way her father's voice tightened whenever I spoke of my career, my ambitions, or my family. Every question they posed was a test. Every compliment was a weapon disguised as kindness. It became evident after the anniversary dinner. Ella laughed at a joke I did not understand. Her parents' eyes met across the room. There was no warmth, no affection, only disdain. I did not act on it. I could not. Not yet. First, I observed. I accumulated evidence like a surgeon gathers tissue samples. A careless text message left on her phone. A whispered insult captured on video by chance. Each revelation stacked upon the last. And I kept my face neutral, my words polite. I never lost control. That is the thing about betrayal. If you erupt, they emerge victorious. If you strategize, you prevail. By the time I began to formulate my scheme, I had everything. Their secrets, their finances, their fragile reputations. Every interaction became a move in a chess game they were unaware of. I did not rush. Patience was my ultimate weapon. Observation, my impenetrable shield. The perfect opportunity presented itself the week following that infamous grease-stained driveway fiasco. The woman I had assisted was more than just grateful. She felt indebted to me. And she possessed power, not the kind one parades at dinner parties, but the genuine silent power of a true influence. Businesses, connections, and influence, the kind you don't realize exists until it hits you in the gut. I orchestrated my plan with precision. Introductions, small favors, a lunch here, a casual mention. They're nothing too obvious. Every move was meticulously calculated, every word carefully chosen. By the time she pulled up to their estate, the timing was impeccable. I was late again, smelling of oil with smudged hands, and I simply did not care because she was not there for them. She was there for me. Her arrival shifted the atmosphere of the room. Ella's mother froze, her mouth half open, while her father's hand tightened around his wine glass. The woman I had helped looked at me with that same serene, commanding gratitude I had seen on the roadside. She said little. She didn't need to. The message was unequivocally clear. Within days, the consequences began to unfold. Their influence wavered. Rumors spread. Minor financial missteps were magnified. Invitations were rescinded. People they trusted turned away. All of it was silent, slow, and inescapable. And I watched from the sidelines, composed and with a faint smile. The best part was not the ruin itself, but the psychological unraveling, the way they finally pieced it together, realizing who had orchestrated it, who had remained patient, and who had never once lost control. They understood that I had seen everything, remembered everything, and had done nothing impulsively. And when Ella finally looked at me, I did not need to explain. She already comprehended the scope and depth of my actions. I did not shout. I did not accuse. I simply smiled quietly, the kind of smile that says, "I knew, and now, so do you." I departed their estate that evening, with no sense of celebration or gloating. I drove away with clean hands this time, the oil and grease washed away. The lesson had been delivered. Justice, silent but absolute, had been served. The betrayal had cost them dearly, but it had taught me patience, observation, and restraint. I never told them how much it hurt, how deep the wounds ran when people you love turn against you. I didn't have to. They felt it. I felt nothing but a calm satisfaction. It was not revenge as chaos, but revenge as art calculated, beautiful, and utterly complete. The irony of it all. That morning, my act of kindness toward a stranger on the roadside, which made me late, became the very instrument of their downfall. Fate has a sense of humor, or perhaps it was simply my turn to act. And as I drive on, oil-free, composed, and victorious, I realize revenge is not about rage. It's about timing, patience, and the quiet understanding that every move you make echoes louder than any shout ever could. I finally smiled, a full smile. They thought they could control me. They thought they knew me. They were wrong.